talking to Tual from slock.it. Stefan used to be CCO of Ethereum.
That's right.
So tell us quickly, why did you make the shift?
Right, why did I leave Ethereum? Well, the foundation was a not-for-profit organization, therefore there was no way for it to earn revenue. And from the get-go, the idea from Vitalik Buterin, which was the inventor of Ethereum, Gavin Wood, who wrote most of the code base, Jeffrey Wilkie, and so on, was to make Ethereum a DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization.
Right.
And so 2 years in, it was pretty much time to go for everyone. So you saw me left, you saw Gavin left, and we all went and built our own companies. I built slock.it, Gavin built Parity, and we're incredibly lucky to have had all the community telling us what they wanted to see in the blockchain space, so we're delivering against that promise.
Right, so slock.it right now, you are verifying smart contracts. Is that what you do?
Right, so we're building what we call the universal sharing network. It's a set of smart contracts that allow anyone to rent, sell, or share anything without third parties.
Okay, and are you using the Ethereum platform for these transactions?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
We use the Ethereum blockchain.
All right, so, and that is still dependent on 15,000 miners?
Yes, it is, and that's a major issue in my opinion. I think we need to see Ethereum moving to what's called a proof of stake model rather than a proof of work model, which has a tendency to eventually become centralized, like we've seen with Bitcoin in China.
Right. So how is slock.it doing it differently? What is the pain point that you're solving?
I think the pain points we're solving is the intermediaries in the context of the sharing economy. You rent an apartment on Airbnb. You have to exchange keys, which is a little bit difficult. So we use smart locks. You just swipe your phone in front of it. You have to trust the person. We give access to a very immutable, transparent, auditable, all the properties of the blockchain system of reputation and identity. We enable people to have better security through the exchange of cryptographic keys on the Ethereum chain. And many other, obviously the biggest one, D, is it's cheaper because there's less intermediaries. You don't pay Airbnb, you don't pay Uber, you don't pay all those intermediaries, so you save a lot of money.
I see. And so is this all based on what currency? What currencies are accepted in this contract?
So at the moment we use Ethereum exclusively, Ether, and we have the intent in the next year or so to include fiat money, so US dollars, yen, euro, and so on. And maybe in the future look at maybe third-party currencies. We're partnering with BT, for example, which is a great exchange. It gives us access to this liquidity and allowing people to maybe use Bitcoin to do these transactions, even though the underlying layer will always be Ethereum.
I see. Now when you speak later today, you're going to address the blockchain part of this IoT
correct.
conference. And what is your message? Can you give it away now? Can you tell us?
Well, the message will be about how you can integrate this technology and really look at it from a technological point of view and understand that this is still a very fledgling industry, and I think that's something people are completely missing right now. It's tremendous hype, a lot of these so-called ICOs that are run really much sometimes like cowboys, I'm afraid to say, when you should really, if you run an ICO, I don't have any problems with it. Ultimately Ethereum was a token cell, but you have to keep in mind that when we launched Ethereum's token cell, we had 2 working prototypes, we already had partners, the chain was real, it was just not a white paper, we had a great team of 40 people already, it was pre-funded privately, so all those indicators, and I think the SEC has done some great recommendation around this, are something that people should look at before they spend a single penny on these things, because the technology is so complex, even my team and myself don't have time to learn about all those wonderful companies that are here today. It's just too many of them. You have to do your research, you have to understand the core fundamentals of this industry before you spend a single penny, or else you might regret it.
Or you might wake up having made a lot of money.
Or you might, well apparently so, eh?
So tell me, what are the limits of these cryptocurrencies? Like I know there's an issue of custody, right? So if someone passes away, how do you pass?
That's one big issue, yes.
So how is that going to be solved?
Well, the 3 main issues, you've nailed the first one, which is custody. So the idea is if you lose your private key, you lose access to your money. That's bad. But imagine in the context of slock.it, you lose access to your house, your car, your microwave, your popcorn machine, your bubble machine for your kids, your toys, everything is gone.
Right.
So we have implemented, for example, a third-party identity system We're working with the guys at Newport to recover, maybe do a 3 out of 4 type signatory system where people can go see their neighbors, recover their keys out of trusted individuals. That could be a good way. Obviously, make backups, that's an obvious one. Maybe use a backup service, cold storage service to do that. I think that's the way people will handle it at the beginning. Second, scalability. It does not scale. Let's be very clear about this. It doesn't. Right, large numbers of transactions, that's right. So we need to implement what's called state channels. State channels are a series of checks that invalidate each other and are then reconciled on the blockchain, which will allow you to run a lot of transactions but execute only one blockchain transaction at the end of the day, saving you money, time, etc. And then the third one would be cost. And that one is a lot harder to solve. It's still very expensive to run this transaction. You've seen Bitcoin is at 10K. I don't even dare to imagine what's the price of a single transaction. So microtransactions is a tough one on blockchain. So you need to look at things like probabilistic payment methods, which require scale, and we're a long, long way from that. A lot of very smart people working on it, great platforms like Plasma and Polkadot working on Relay Chain to interact with others. But if I had one message for the community, it would be take your time. Technology is coming, but we're 2-3 years away from mainstream adoption at the very least, in my opinion.
I see. So right now you talk about mainstream adoption. Like you can be in Amsterdam, you can buy one cigarette from somebody who's passing you and say, hey, I'll pay you with Bitcoin.
In Amsterdam, I'm not sure if I would want to buy a cigarette from someone.
Tokyo, Paris, San Francisco, everybody wants to do it from tomorrow. What would that kind of load put on the system? Who would absorb the cost of each of these transactions? Because they're tiny transactions.
That's why you see a lot of companies doing what's called private chains, and there's a lot of them at the booth today that sell private chain solutions, which are so-called permission chains, which are private to their own network and allow them to have as much traffic as they see fit. Now, obviously, the problem with that approach is that you lose out on the whole public element of it, the auditability of it, the transparency of it, and in my opinion, in many cases, you're better off with a central database. Now, we work with clients that require this type of technology for the time being, but make no mistake, they're looking at opening up to the public when the technology becomes available, and that may be something that happens on Ethereum in 2-3 years down the line. We're privately funded. We just finished our seed round, which is about, well, not just, it was in March. It's been a while now, but we're doing great. We're scaling nicely. We've got 21 employees. Now we're going for Series A, no ICO. So another message would be like, you don't need an ICO to be on blockchain, right? You can do it with traditional capital. A lot of people want to be in blockchain are scared of ICOs. So why not do it the proper way?
In fact, any business can use blockchain or crypto validation. And yet it's not auditable, so I'm trying to wrap my mind around that.
It's tough one, isn't it?
Yes, it is fun. So what is next for slock.it? Where are you taking your customers? What's the hottest feature?
So we've just opened the MVP, and in fact, if people want to go on booth 314 today, I don't know when this video will be published, but we'll have the videos out, I'm sure, by the time this is released. We have a popcorn machine, we have a microwave, we have everything, locks and so on, all available, ready, working on the live chain, so you guys can go check the transaction yourself, see if it's real. It's real. We got a real app, it's all working. We've opened it up to the public for testing. We got a great announcement. We're working with TIA, the Trusted IoT Alliance, who's adopting it as standard. And TIA includes companies like Cisco, Siemens, Bosch, and so on. It's really exciting for us to be here to show people all the hard work that went in the last 3 years.
Okay, and who are you excited to meet today that you know is speaking?
Who am I excited to meet? I've seen a lot of AI companies, and I want to learn more about that. It's a field that's always been interesting to me. I find that actually what they're using the blockchain for is what you were just describing, putting the data into the public's hand and giving it auditability. That doesn't mean they're running the AI algorithm on the blockchain. That would be silly. It would never work. But they're making the data available to others, and I think this democratization of data access is going to be critical in the future, and I think they're onto something, so I'm very excited about these guys.
Yes, between blockchain and AI, whoever does it wants the future.
Exactly, yeah, we'll see.
So very good to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Hope to see you again here next year.
Thank you. Look forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.